Chapter 2, The Work That Would Not Kneel. Dr. Goodman did not sleep. He sat alone in his office long after the facility's lights dimmed, the low hum of buried generators vibrating faintly through the floor. The room was immaculate, no personal photographs, no awards displayed. Only screens, files, and a single sealed folder marked with a designation that no longer appeared in the system. Manifesto. The word was older than the project itself. He had chosen it carefully. A declaration, a thesis, a final argument. Goodman removed his glasses and rubbed the bridge of his nose. His reflection stared back at him from the darkened glass of the observation window, older than he remembered, thinner, carved down by years of sanctioned violence dressed up as research. He told himself what he always did. This is necessary, this is controlled, this is progress. But the word vessel had changed something. He hadn't heard it spoken aloud. Not officially. Strategos never needed to speak plainly. The syndicate's intentions moved through channels, buried in language that sounded clinical enough to excuse anything. Transfer compatibility confirmed, cognitive overwrite viability high, subject integrity acceptable. Goodman leaned back in his chair. They did not see the boy. They saw a container. That was the line he could not cross. He pulled up archived footage, training sessions, early developmental assessments, the first time the child had held a blade correctly without instruction. The first time his vulnerability vision had activated, eyes glowing softly as the world fractured into points of failure and opportunity. There had been no triumph in the boy's face, no joy, only compliance. Goodman had told himself that was good, clean, efficient, but now he understood what Strategos intended. The syndicate did not want a weapon. They wanted continuity, a body strong enough to hold Strategos' will, a mind conditioned to obey assignment without hesitation, a vessel that would not resist when the override came. Goodman exhaled slowly. No, he said aloud, to no one. The boy was his work, not in the possessive sense, not ownership, in the way a sculptor recognizes the difference between a statue and the stone it came from. Goodman stood. He crossed the office and keyed in a private command sequence, one not logged in the main system. The facility's architecture had been his design. Its redundancies were elegant, necessary, exploitable. Begin contingency protocol, he said quietly. The system hesitated. Identity confirmation required. Goodman placed his palm against the scanner. Override under ethical authority, he said. A pause. Warning. Action will trigger irregularity flags. I'm aware. The lights in his office dimmed slightly. Somewhere deep in the facility, a secondary system came online. One never meant for use during active operations. Maintenance corridors unlocked. Surveillance loops initialized. Access hierarchies quietly rearranged themselves. Goodman did not smile. He felt sick. The boy sat on the floor of his room, back against the wall, hands resting on his knees. This was not training time. He knew because the lights were dimmed differently. The hum of the air system had shifted pitch. These were not assigned conditions. He waited anyway. The door opened without warning. Dr. Goodman stepped inside. That had never happened before. The boy's body tensed, not in fear, but readiness. His eyes flickered, low threatening to surface before he forced it down. He had been trained not to escalate without instruction. Goodman raised a hand. No, he said softly. Not today. The boy froze. Goodman crouched in front of him, lowering himself to eye level. Up close, the child looked smaller than he remembered. Thinner, too young for the scars his body carried. You're not in trouble, Goodman said. The words did not register. The boy searched Goodman's face for cues, for the familiar shape of instruction. None came. Goodman swallowed. They're going to take you, he continued. Not here, somewhere else. Still nothing. Goodman expected that. He had come for release. I made you strong, Goodman said, his voice steady despite the weight pressing into his chest. Stronger than anyone else they've ever tried this with. The boy tilted his head slightly. Recognition, not of meaning, but of tone. You did everything you were told, Goodman said. Every assignment, every correction. The boy nodded once. Goodman closed his eyes. And now they want to erase you. The boy did not react. Erasure was not a concept he had been trained on. Goodman stood. When the lights turned red next, he said, "You're going to run." The boy's eyes lifted. Goodman continued, forcing the words out before doubt could stop him. "You won't wait for a signal. You won't wait for permission. You'll move through the door on your left. It will be open." The boy stared at him. "Follow the corridors that feel wrong," Goodman said. "Ignore the noise. Ignore the pain. Don't stop." The boy's eyes began to glow. Not fully, just enough. Goodman stepped back. "You won't understand why," he said. "That's all right. You don't need to." He hesitated at the door. Then, quietly, "You were never meant to belong to him." The door closed. Goodman returned to his office and sat down heavily. Security alerts began to populate his screen. Minor irregularities, nothing actionable yet. He had timed it carefully. The syndicate would notice eventually. They always did, but by then, he pulled up the final file. Project Manifesto. Status: active. Goodman stared at the word again. Manifesto, not a weapon, not a vessel, a declaration, a refusal. Goodman pressed enter. The lights deep in the facility shifted. Red.